What is obesity? So everyone knows what it is. It's basically when you have an excess amount of fat in your body, and that can cause other diseases and a risk to your health. So how does this happen? So you obviously eat more calories than you burn in a day-to-day basis, and over time this builds up and it can cause other problems like type 2 diabetes, heart diseases, fatty liver, gout, osteoporosis, and like a lot of other ones. It can be either due to your eating and your lifestyle, or it could also be due to like hereditary illnesses or rare conditions like hypothyroidism or Cushing syndrome. So it's also very common now, and the CDC, or the Disease Control and Prevention, estimates that 42.4% of Americans 20 years old and older now have obesity. So yeah, and now I'm going to go look at BMI. So BMI is basically the body mass index, and overweight is between 25 to 29.9, and obese is from 30 to 39.9, and morbidly obese is more than 40. And so people who are morbidly obese can have up to 15 to 20 years of their life reduced because of their weight and other health conditions due to their weight. So it's very important for us to manage our weight. So a couple things that we can do about this. So people who need to decrease their weight, they can first start with managing their diet. For example, men on average need roughly between 2,000 to maybe 2,700 calories a day. So what they can do is decrease their calorie intake up to 1,800 and spread it evenly across the day to avoid binge eating or like eating disorders where you want to eat like later at night or crave food because you've been starving yourself for a long period of time. And same with women, you can decrease your calorie intake down to 1,500. Eating like more healthy foods like not saturated fats obviously, and not processed foods, excess sugars that come in the form of like processed sugars, and changing to fruits and like more of a fiber-rich diet can also help with decreasing weight when paired with exercise or daily activity. So my case study is on America because I feel like it's one that everyone knows, so everyone's familiar with it. So in 2021, obesity was responsible for 2.8 million deaths from non-communicable diseases in America, and rates of overweight and obesity has tripled in the region over the past 50 years, and these conditions now affect 62.5% of the population, the highest regional prevalence in the world. And from statistics over the last couple decades, it's just been increasing and increasing. So it's such an important problem, especially in developed countries, because of the fast food industry and stuff. Nearly 20% of children aged 2 to 19 in the United States also have obesity, which is more than 14.7 million children and adolescents. So obesity in America. So obesity can also cause many problems in a person's day-to-day life, especially if you're morbidly obese, like moving, you'll have joint pains and just difficulty maybe getting around or going places. So it's like a downward spiral. Once you have an eating disorder, you just go down the spiral and you tend to indulge in your disorder, and it increases your chance of developing more diseases. So people in this condition tend to need economic stability, social support, access to healthcare, education, and housing. Maybe if they are excessively obese, they may even need special housing that has aids for them if they can't even support their weight maybe. And because of all these conditions, it will also have a significant effect on their mental health. So it's very common for them to have depression, anxiety, or even suicidal thoughts. Medical costs for people living with obesity are 1,861 or higher. And this is, if you think about it, when you put it to perspective, now 62.5% of America is now maybe prone to have to pay this much towards their health because of their weight. So it's actually, when you put it to perspective, a lot of money is going away because of this. So it's actually also affecting our health and the working community, as more obese people may not be able to work as many jobs. So a couple risks. Risk factors include family inheritance, inactivity and an unhealthy diet, medications, lack of sleep and stress. And how can you prevent obesity? So avoiding stressful situations, eating healthier, stop eating fast food, watching less TV, that's not really exactly, but exercising and getting rid of bad habits. So what is the social importance of it? So this is quite a chunky paragraph, so I'll just sum it up. So social importance, like people who are overweight tend to also, like I said, have depression or other problems. Especially children are affected most with this when they have childhood obesity, whether it may be due to like conditions like hypothyroidism. They tend to struggle making friends or be quite lonely, very isolated, don't tend to go out, so they kind of may stay at home and seek solace in food and like not activities or something. So as a result of like a weight bias attitudes, people with obesity also have to deal with a lower quality of life and diminished social performance. This is going to obviously affect the working economy and like how they can achieve their life. Like, can they achieve their life goals? Can they like take their part in society and stuff like that? So economic importance. So the World Obesity Atlas predicts that global economic impact of overweight and obesity will reach 4.32 trillion annually by 2035 if prevention and treatment measures do not improve, and almost 3% of global GDP, this comparable with the impact of COVID-19 2020. So once again, it's just going over like how this can actually affect how much we as individuals are spending on our healthcare and our health, and like if more people have obesity, then our lifestyle and how long we live, the average lifespan of human beings will like go down, and it's not very good. So it's very important that we all reach hands out. Maybe if people are struggling, if someone seems lonely, or if you are struggling, you can reach out to physicians or your friends or family and seek help. Thank you, guys.